Alright, so I'm going to be doing a comparison between these two fans. These are basically the same fans, these Honeywell Desk fans, model HT900. I know the newer one's an HT900. I'm not sure if the older one is. The older one is the one that's on the left, and the newer one is the one that's on the right. The newer one I actually got last year over the summer. I got it new in box at Target for 15 bucks, which is actually the cheapest place you can actually find these at. The other places have them for 10. Like CVS, Walgreens, they sell them for like $25, which I feel like is overpriced for a small fan like this. But if you're trying to find one, they actually have these in black as well. If you're not really a big fan of a white fan. But, I like the white ones a little bit more, but the black one looks pretty nice as well. But yeah. Now I haven't seen a video of both versions of the white desk fan from Honeywell on YouTube, like somebody comparing both of them, so I figured I'd be the first one to do so. There might be one out there already. I haven't seen one, but I know somebody did one of the black version, the older version, and the newer one, so I figured I'd be the one first to do the white models. So yeah. Now the older version has more of a regular white finish, and the newer one has more of a white finish with a bluish tint to it. I'll bring it in close as you can see. Now they did basically the older version. There's some differences between them. The older ones a little bit better built. The performance of it's a little bit better. It's more noisy, but it still moves a good amount of air. The blades are a bit different compared to the newer one, and the stand is as well. And for the newer one, and also something I figured I'd mention is the housing on the newer one is a tiny bit bigger than the housing on the older one. That's just something I figured I'd mention. But yeah, these are something I do like about this fan. I feel like to show you guys is for those who don't know much about these fans, you can adjust it. This one is a bit noisier when you adjust it though. And this one you actually have a bit, 1, 2, have them both straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't really have it in between. It has to be a certain way with this one. This one I think you can adjust it a little bit more to your liking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this one's the same thing. You can adjust it in 4 different ways, but you can have halfway. Whereas with this one, you can't have it halfway in between. It will just go right to the first position. So that is something better about the older one, where you can adjust it to where you want it. But if you don't want it exactly where that position of it is, you can actually leave in between. Whereas the newer one, you can't really do that. But that is something that is the main feature of these fans, where you can adjust them. That's kind of basically what they're for. These fans can also be mounted on a wall, just for those who didn't know that. I haven't really seen them on a wall, but they want to make a bad wall fan. What you do is sorry if I'm saying I'm a lot. This one's from 2003. This one I'm not sure. So there's you put a nail on the wall and hold it right there. This one only needs 1 nail to be held up in the wall. I'm pretty sure this one uses 2. I figured it's better to have 2 nails holding it in place. I feel like it's more secure that way. But I don't know, I just feel like it's more secure with 2 nails instead of just 1. So yeah. Let me go ahead and just see how sturdy the older one is. Well, this doesn't really shake too much. This one does sway back and forth a little bit with the legs, the arms that hold it. So the older one's a little bit better with that. It's not really... The older one's housing, the plastic housing, seems a bit more It's almost the same quality, but this one seems a bit less flimsy. This one does seem a little bit more flimsy. But yeah. And also, I don't know if I showed a stand of this one, but it's basically a different shape, whereas the older ones, like, it basically goes around. It doesn't like curve in. So yeah. Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show each of the fans running separately first on each speed. I'm going to do this newer one first and then the older one. Actually, I'll do the older one first and then the newer one. So, since this one seems to be similar. So yeah. And then I'll show both of them running together on each speed. So let's start off with speed 1. I just want to be sure if it was on speed 1. And I also have them not facing directly at the camera because then it will pick up the sound of the air movement. So what I would do is I'll put the camera up to the fan so you can hear how much air they're moving, or get an idea how much air they're moving on each speed. The low speed on the older version seems to move a very decent amount, pretty good amount of air for a speed 1. Like on a day that's like 70 degrees, you definitely could just use this speed. It's pretty powerful for a slow speed. Okay, now for speed 2. Something I forgot to mention is the older one does have like more of a regular blade look. The blades look more simple, and the newer one has like the blades look more like a flower petal. That's just something I figured I'd make a note of on video. The older one is a bit noisier compared to the older one. Compared to the newer one. And that's basically all they really did. They changed the look a tiny bit, made it look more modern. And this gave it a silent motor, like a motor that's more quiet. But a lot of times when a company will do that with some of their fans, they make it more quiet. It ends up, unfortunately, sometimes it will make the fan have a weaker motor. So basically, it's not really that all the fans quieter. It's quieter, yes, but at the cost of it, you have a fan that's not too powerful. Alright, now for speed 3, aka hot. Now this one's it's starting to move towards me. When this one's on hideout, it'll actually move on its own, like vibrates. let's go ahead and start off with the newer one, starting off with speed 1. It is quieter and it doesn't move as much air as the older one does on speed 1. It basically moves half, 75% of the air that the older one does, like basically half of it. It's kind of hard to say, but basically the other one seems to, this one seems to go like half, a little bit like half the speed of the other one does on speed 1. Still does move a nice amount of air though, just not as much as the other one. Does move a nice amount of air on medium. The other one does move a little bit more on medium now. As this is the only thing you sacrifice with the newer one. If you want a fan that's quieter, you end up not having as much. You end up having a fan that doesn't move too much air, but compared to the older version. But it does move a good amount of air still. Just not as much as the older one. Both on speed 1 and speed 2. Still not bad. It's not really bad fan, especially if you get it at Target for $15. It's definitely worth the $15. So a lot of the other fans that are out on the market today are pretty junky. This one's actually not really bad at all. Especially if you can't really afford one that's too expensive. It's definitely a pretty good fan. Alright, now for speed 3. Although you could always find a used fan at a thrift shop. They're usually better quality for like even cheaper. Alright, it moves a good amount of air on high, but the older one definitely does move a lot more. It's not really like a weak fan, it's just not as powerful as the older one. But it does move a good amount of air on high. Just not as much. It's like a little bit, it's like half of the speed that the other one goes in high, but still does move a good amount of air. Basically each speed on this newer one goes like a half speed slower than each speed on the older one. Okay, let me shut it off. So yeah, now let me go ahead and start both of them off on speed 1. I'm going to spread them out a little bit more so I can kind of feel air moving from both of them. Okay, so the newer one doesn't move now. It doesn't move that much less air compared to the older one, but the low speed ones are actually kind of the same, but I do feel more air from the older one. I do feel like the breeze I feel from the newer one's kind of, it's similar to the older one, but I feel more air, like better quality air moving from the older one. But yeah, the older one definitely does go faster than the newer one. Let me get up closer. Alright, may move both of them up to speed 2. Okay, speed 2 on the older one is definitely it's more noticeable that it goes a bit faster and it moves more air compared to the newer one. Alright, now we move both of them up to speed 3. I'm gonna put this one right against the older one. Well, it doesn't really seem to be helping too much, but what I'll do is press it on top of the cable of the. Okay, that helps out a bit. Yeah, the older one definitely does move more air on the high speed compared to the newer one. These are good for the size. I mean, for how small they are, they actually do move a nice amount of air. Spindle is obviously not gonna be the same, but oh well, the newer one seems to stop quicker. Well, also the older one I think needs to be oiled a bit, but yeah. So just for an overall review at the end, the older one definitely is more powerful, but it depends on what type of air movement you like. I know there's some people who like fans that move a lot of air, then I know there's some people who just want a fan that that does the job and just moves some air. If you want one that moves some air, definitely go for the newer one. But if you want one that's a bit more powerful, go for the older one. They're they're a little bit different in appearance, so yeah, just be on the lookout. But overall, they are pretty good fans, both of them. The older one's it's just 25% more powerful. The older one, the newer one's not that bad, as from what I've been hearing from other people. But the high speed is definitely a lot better on the older one. Same thing with the medium speed, but Both speeds basically the same for both of them. So yeah, that'll wrap up this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos to come.